All right. Well, hello everyone. Welcome back. This is Sentient Cloud. So, yesterday I did some work on getting the profiling set up for this, like in the build system. I still haven't figured out how to solve that issue where the various tests do not all get profiling data uh, converted. Actually, is that something that's just hit? Okay, yeah, no, it's not there. Okay. So, yeah, I'm not sure how to fix that. I'll have to figure that out at some point, but for now, I'm gonna go ahead and just move on, and I'll figure that out later. Because at this point, like I'm not gonna get all the profiling data for the tests necessarily, but I am getting it for the main binary, and some of the tests are also getting it. So I'll figure that out here. I'll see if I can figure out how to make it work. I imagine it's that I messed something up with Bash, and that's why it's doing it. I might have to figure out some other build system potentially. Maybe I'll see if I can figure out how to do something with Lua. That could be an interesting little side quest. Um, and I also, real quick before I begin, I wanted to ask what you guys think about me doing like gaming streams as like a maybe an addendum to this, right? Like start adding that. I don't really want to infringe on the coding part of this because I think it's still useful to do it. But I do kind of want to do something slightly different alongside it. So yeah, let me know what you think. Leave it in the comments of this live, or comment in chat. Either way is fine. I don't mind. But yeah, let me know what you think. Okay, let me go ahead and make this full screen, and let's get started. So, you need to go ahead and do. And let's do app.hp, not HPP, excuse me, cpm, and let's get started here. So. I'm going to need to make a module header up here, export module app, and then do imports. Let's see. I'm not going to do those just yet. We'll focus on that later. Let's see, I need to export namespace Yadda. And let's go in and start doing stuff there. I might need to check because I'm not nearly to the point where I'm like used to using this whole setup, so I'll need to get used to it more. Make sure to include a logger. And I guess I'll need to define a class, or I guess we'll call it a struct. Yeah. So, application. And this is going to be storing the run loop. It's going to be calling all the other things, sort of basically the way that I did things for the previous editor. So main is really not going to be doing much of anything apart from just starting, creating an application and then calling the run loop and then doing all that kind of stuff. Okay. So I don't know exactly what I'm going to put in there. And we'll make sure that this is in public. We'll go ahead and create. Actually, go here real quick. Go ahead and import that. We'll go and just create a string for command. I might end up replacing this later if the performance warrants it, but for now, we'll just leave it as a string. And let's see here. I don't know, there's not a whole lot that I need to initialize straight away. So let's do, what is it? It's result run. Actually, you know what? Real quick here, I'm going to go and I'll be right back. All right. So let's see, run loop. We'll just do while true. Actually, you know what? No, we'll do it. So let's see. You know what? We'll do it like this. Hold on. Command, and we'll say that's initialized to 0. Get-s. Let's see that grabs specifically from standard out. So I think we just do command the length. Hold on, let me make sure I'm getting this right. Okay, yeah, so standard in is there. And this is going to be, I think, 23. Never mind, I want to do 24. So that's the length of the array. Standard in, and there we go. Okay. While command at 0 is not equal q. Let's go ahead and let's see. I want to go ahead and debug command. We'll do it like this. So there. Okay. So let's go to main.cpp. We'll go ahead and drop all of these imports. Those aren't needed. Import app. Delete this. Application app. And then let's go ahead and do app.run. Let's go ahead and let's see. Let's go ahead. We'll import that std print. Oh, let's not produce. Oh. What's going on here? Okay. call it something like that, and that should be print line. There we go. Okay. And return 1. Okay. Let's see. ID result is not image type. Is that not in? It is not. Okay. Hold on. Let's see. Okay. Maybe I should call that a defines and then other stuff. Okay, well, I'm going to go ahead, since I have to include the logger essentially everywhere, I'm just going to go ahead and define something here. So we'll do enum, let's see, yd result. We'll do yd success. And then there will be a bunch of different errors, but let's do error, IO error. There will be others in the future, but we'll stick with these for now. And actually, let's go ahead and we'll treat these as bits to be set, so that like it can return. Actually, in that case, result should be like an integer. Then it can return a bunch of different errors at once, like if we have an allocation error and a renderer error and so on and so forth. That would actually be pretty helpful. Not going to worry about that for now, though. Let's do that, and then let's see. Let's go with app.cppm. Here, this needs to return id success for now. Okay, so I need to include I don't know if it's okay to mix those together. Actually, I should probably put that below. Otherwise, it's gonna. I think that's gonna cause issues because I think imports are supposed to be at the top typically, but I guess we'll have to wait and see if that's okay. Okay, and in here, let's go and do. Yes. We'll leave that alone for now. We don't need it to. What should we do? Never mind. Okay. Let's go with fatal. Just say that. Okay. Let's do get debug get. Okay. That's mildly annoying, but this is just kind of how it works. Okay. So it's going to maintain doing that. That's okay. That's fine. Let's do. Something like that. Yeah, okay, so all that works just fine. And if we do Q, it should close. Awesome. Okay, so we've got a very, very, very simple run loop. Okay. Now, let's go to the run loop and let's go ahead and start kind of blocking things out here. So, here, and this is going to do init. So this part up here is going to be for things where like there's no expectation that it's going to fail, right? Like, for example, something like like initializing something like this. If that fails, you've got other bigger problems than just your editor not working right. And it is going to be testing things like, does your current setup support X11 or whatever the windowing system I plan to use? I'm probably going to just use GLFW because that's fairly easy to use and it's very specific for windowing and creating an OpenGL context, so that's fine. Initializing OpenGL, like does your computer support the version and all that kind of stuff. That'll be stuff that'll happen in init. Maybe we'll call it startup. Well, let's call it that. Okay. And let's see. Okay. I guess open window is going to be pretty high up there. Start render. Start the script engine, something like that. I don't know. There could also be different points. So like, for example, you've got like the point before the window opens where the script engine starts and does things. Because like, for example, with Emacs, you've got both init and then early init. And early init happens before a lot of stuff, like a lot of graphical stuff happens. So you can specifically say, I want the window to open with a transparent background, and I want it to open with this, that, and the other thing. So maybe I'll go that route and have different things that kind of hook in. I don't know. Might be worth it. Also, let's go ahead and put in start event system, because that's something that's going to be pretty big. And this is kind of where the script engine is also going to kind of come into play. So maybe when I start the event system, it'll also start the script engine. Crazy things happening. Maybe we'll call it plugin system. Plugin system. So events get started and everything gets set up there, and then plugins, and then it opens the window, starts the renderer. And I'll also have to kind of figure out the scope of the plugin system. So let's figure out what's the event system going to look like. Okay. We'll worry about that later. Okay, so runs there. That's fine for the most part. And void. We'll do result. We'll just have it be result, because there could theoretically be a situation where things are not shutting down correctly. We'll say this returns YD success. This is going to return the same unless there's an issue. And okay, just go ahead and put a comment here, and we'll do this in like reverse order, because typically that's how you do things in this case. Red nerder. Um, typically you do things in reverse order. So close window after shut down renderer, or simultaneously, because of course, the renderer will go offline. Regardless. Okay. Plugins. Shut down events. Something like this, I think. I think this is kind of how I want to go with this. Okay. So there's probably a lot of stuff that I'm forgetting. Let's see. What about... Okay, so in here, we'll go ahead and just say, inside the loop, get input. I guess check input. Check input. So we'll go ahead and display stuff, check input, loop. I should also be figuring out like because I'm probably going to end up making it so that this thing is like automatically limits frames. I don't know how his VSync is going to work. That might not be necessary, but I'm definitely going to be preventing it from going as fast as it possibly wants to. There's no reason for that. I think 60 frames to like 120 frames is probably about where things are roughly going to be limited, but I'll try and make sure that it's not like causing problems in that area. Because I do want this thing to be able to kind of have cool stuff, right? Like if you've ever used something like Neovide, Neovide has a lot of really neat little animations and stuff for like, moving your cursor around and deleting characters and things like that. There's actually, hold on, I want to show, or not show, I'll talk about this, but what was it? Godot. Was it like a juicy text editor, I think is the term that was used. Yeah. So basically there was like there's this editor that was written in Godot called TextStream or something, TextStream, that like looked really neat, and the way you deleted stuff, everything looked kind of cool. I don't know if I want to go that route because it's like really, really, really aggressive with the animations and stuff. It's really quite distracting. But I do like the concept of having like animations as like a part of it, like not intrusive ones. Another cool idea that I might try implementing, because I think it would actually be fairly easy, would be to implement something where if you've ever seen old CRT monitors, the way that they work, you had typically the screen would have a slight curvature, and that's just because of how the whole thing worked. And so you'd have this like curvature, the characters would kind of curve, and you'd be able to see that. And so that'd be a cool thing to kind of implement as a neat little addition. I don't know how feasible that would be, but I think it would be kind of neat. So maybe I'll try something like that as like a little fun thing. But for now, that's very far into the future. Not going to worry about that. Okay. So these are the basic things. There's going to be more stuff happening, but for now, I guess we need to start with the event system. I suppose I could also do the Windows stuff and just do stuff out of order to some extent, but I don't know. It's probably better to start on the event system. Okay. So let's go ahead and go there. Need to source event.cppm. And let's go ahead and start there. Yeah, HPP. And probably need to do that, and then export namespace Yadda. Okay, now so what I think I'm going to do here is the event manager is going to be present in all of the various sections, but I don't think I want to make it a global. It's probably not the best idea. So it'll be started by the application, and then it'll be passed to all the various components. I need, let's see, union event data. It's going to be storing all of the kind of possible things that an event might be passing. Let's see what sort of things. This would be a good time to look at how GLFW handles some of its events, because that's kind of what's going to end up largely determining how things are going to work. So let's go to the documentation real quick. Let's do input. Event processing, yeah, okay. Okay, so key input is, there's 4 different possible inputs there. So it's going to have to be able to pass 4 different things probably. Oh, what else? Text input. Yeah, so mouse input is using doubles, so and it's 2 doubles, so it's a double. Okay, so I guess we're gonna start here. So first off, double, and let's call that F64, and that is going to be an array of 2 of them. You could also have each of these be their own individual thing, and like have a structure essentially. That might actually be a good way to do this. There's nothing that really makes it that a bad thing, strictly speaking. So maybe I'll do that. Hold on. Let's try that. So struct. Can I do that anonymously? Probably best not to. Let's call that mouse move, and this is going to be double X pause and double Y pause. Let's call that mouse pause. Okay. All right. And then let's see. So we also want to make sure we have an event type. Oops. Event type, and there's going to be a bunch of different ones. Some are going to essentially require event data, others won't. So like, for example, probably won't need to have data transmitted with like losing focus, right? There's going to be stuff like, an event for when the application loses focus. I don't think I need that to transmit data. So, okay. Let's see. So app start. And also let's go and do unknown, just to like catch anything that could theoretically not. Yeah, okay, that seems like a good idea. And also we'll do enum class. In this case. Okay, so I type unknown app start. Okay, that's fine. App. Actually, app start up. Shut down. I suppose in this case, focus could just be that, and then you do transmit data because it's gonna have like it's always going to be pushing data in some way, right? There's always going to be some. I think, like with some exceptions, right? Like startup, that probably won't transmit any data. Okay. Okay. All right, then we'll do like key press, key release, and in this case, I'm not going to include repeats as its own separate thing because in practical terms, I don't think it matters. I've never run into a case where it especially matters if key press does that. And sorry, I'm just thinking about like, because if you didn't know, one of the things that most computers do automatically, whether you like it or not, is they will repeat key presses. And so, depending on how, like, what the application is, some applications will effectively turn this off. So, a lot of games, for example, will turn this feature off because it interferes with, like, if you are holding, one of W, A, S, or D to move around, it doesn't really make sense for the computer to constantly be or I guess the program to be reprocessing key press events, right? And so they'll turn off auto repeat, or they'll make it detectable so that the machine doesn't like, so the program can tell like, okay, you're not actually releasing the key. So what I'm kind of getting at is I could make it so that this setup will actually like essentially just figure out, okay, are you holding down the key or are you not? And if you are holding it down, then do I want to make it so the application can decide its own auto repeat speed? Because it's pretty common for most of them to just follow how the operating system does it. So maybe I'll do that. Yeah, I think I'll do that just for the sake of ease of use. All right. So that's fine. Also, let's go and put in mouse button press, mouse button release, and mouse motion. I might end up doing scroll as well, but we'll worry about that later. We've got mouse move, so we'll test that out first. Okay. Now we also need to be able to register events. So let's do, let's see, we'll do result. Register, because this is stored there. And that's going to take what? It needs to be a callback. So let me just go ahead and do a comment here. We need a callback for that registration. We need the calling structure or class, whatever you want to call it. We need the let's go ahead and put this in public. There. So we need the calling structure. I guess, event type. Okay. Because that'll determine what happens where. Okay, so let's start with that. Void. Actually, we'll call it receiver. I guess we'll have to. We've already got a function here, so let's define function. Std function. This is going to need the sender. So we'll do sender in case it's needed. It's unlikely, but it's certainly possible. Sender void enter receiver. Or not void. We want event type in case that's needed, and event data. And I don't think actually these. I don't think these are needed here. There. I think that's fine. So we'll call that a callback. And what else? We want to make sure to send event type. Is there anything else that I need to send? I think that's everything. Okay. All right. And realistically, I probably won't end up needing event type in the function itself because that's all going to be kind of dealt with the callback. But it's probably best to have that just in case I need it for something. It might be needed. Okay, so register. I also need to make sure and put it. And this can to be storing. Let's see. So I'm going to need vectors for the various things that are being stored here. Probably have some sort of structure that stores events. So struct event is going to store. It's going to have to store the callback. The receive. Does it need the sender as well? I don't think so. I think that's all it really needs. And I might discover that this is something that's not that is better done some other way. Maybe there's something in C++ that it does this a little bit better than this. I'll figure that out and deal with that later. Okay. Yeah, okay, so we'll stick with this. So, hold on a sec here. back to this. All right, so vector, and this is going to be a vector of events. Oh, not events, event. Excuse me. Okay, so oh, and actually, let's see. How do you define functions? Hold on. Okay, so functional. Okay. All right. So that's how you define that. Hold on. Let's fix this. Need it to return bool. Right here. Okay. I think that's correct. And so what's going to happen is the function is going to essentially, my idea here, and I guess it's not really my idea. I got this from watching a guy on YouTube called Travis Froman. The basic idea is to have a list of various events that can decide whether or not they want to consume that event or just like continue allowing it to go down the stack. So maybe you want to have a global key checker that will like a global and then a local kind of set of key events. And so in a local context, certain global key events are not going to be possible because they're already being taken over by that local event callback. So that's kind of the idea here. Okay, let's start. We'll just start with mouse move. Oops, mouse move events. Yeah. Okay. So these are very specifically going to be events for mouse move. So whenever we fire an event, which we'll do here, result fire event, it's going to, let's see, probably get the sender real quick. We'll say return success. Both of these for now. Okay, so when we fire an event, we want it to call type. We need to make sure to include type. So event type. Actually, it also needs event data for that matter. Type event data. There. Okay. So then what it'll do is we'll call the event callback. So there will be like a switch here, and that will check the type. And then, case, we'll say, what is it? Event type, mouse motion, right? This is going to call what's it? Const auto event in events. I'm going to go ahead and just this in mouse move events. So that, and then also default. This will say, debug uncaught, unknown event type, let's say. That probably shouldn't be happening, but if it does, it's not the end of the world. Okay, and we'll make sure right here, and let me just go ahead, we'll just put that in brackets or braces. There. Okay, so if event callback, and it needs to take event.receiver, sender, actually, since I'm already here, we'll do the function bool void pointer receiver sender. There. And then this is going to be the void pointer. There. Okay, cool. So that's going to call that. And then so receiver. And I think there's a tool to bind stuff. Maybe I'll use that. That might actually not be a bad idea. Anyway, okay, so we need to send the type and the data. And if that's true, then that means we've consumed the event break of the loop. I'll end up removing this comment here. Yeah, we'll just do that right now. Doesn't really do anything. Okay. So callback. Okay, cool. So register is going to be essentially what's going to happen is we'll have another switch, and this is going to, do I need the, I don't need data. Yeah. Okay, so what this is going to do, we'll do type event type mouse motion. And there's actually not a whole lot here that needs to be there. Okay, mouse move events. Yeah, push back event, and then we'll call it, so we'll send the callback and the receiver. And then break. Default debug unknown event type. Okay. All right, so I don't know. Need to think about this some, but we'll worry about that later. It's a bit of a catchphrase at this point. We'll worry about that later. Okay. So there's that. Everything is kind of being handled, essentially. This vector gets handled automatically. Okay. I think that's everything I need. I'll go ahead and change this to mouse motion events just so that it's, naming is consistent. I don't necessarily want to make things unclear for no reason. Oh, I should probably also put in unregister. So we'll go like this. Just copy and paste. Call this unregister, and this is going to go through. And then let's see. For now, we'll do something that's probably not the best idea. Event cost auto. Hold on. I learned recently that auto in C is incredibly strange compared to this. So, okay. If callback, and let me go ahead and do this so that, yeah, okay, that's fine. Don't actually need, yeah, I do. It's probably best to send the type anyway. Okay, so if event callback equals callback, and in fact, I think that's the only thing I really need to check for. Because the receiver is not, I don't think it's really feasible, is it? I mean, it's probably best. It is probably for the best to make sure and check for both. Otherwise, I might run into some very weird edge case. So we'll just do checks if both are identical. Oh, whoa, whoa. Hold on. Okay. And make sure to break. All right, hold on one sec here. Let's see. From error from vector. From vector. Done. Okay. Okay, well, I suppose just change how I do this. So real quick, I'll just go ahead and do, instead we'll do, let's see, is it just auto, I think? No. Was it? Begin. Oh. Motion. Dot end. I think. Okay. Here we'll do. Let's change this real quick. Events dot erase. Nope, 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 nope. Hold on. Hold. Yeah, no, that's correct. Hold the phone. Hold on. Okay, so that does that. Okay, so we want to do IT equals erase IT and then break. Okay, so if we're doing this and we don't end up actually deleting or unregistering an event, in the end, it'll just get rid of everything, which is fine. We're fine with that. We don't want it to break because we forgot to delete stuff. And then, if we want to remove something right off the bat, then it'll do that too. Let's see, does erase actually close elements around it? Like push everything together? Let's see. Okay. Erases. Yep, removes those elements. Yeah, okay, so that should work fine. Okay. Cool. Let's just check to see if this compiles. It's not going to do anything just yet. Let me actually go to app.cpm, and I'll go ahead and import that. And I'll go ahead and we'll say, we'll put this in the, here, right here. Event manager, event manager. Excuse me. Let's see what we got. Okay. Hold on. Okay. All right. Well, it appears as though my... I might have to actually take some time and build a build system that can support this, because frankly, if this is going to be a problem, I'm not going to be happy. Okay, so let's see. Okay. I am going to have to figure this out at some point. Yeah. Okay, well, I'm at the end of the hour already. I'll have to do some research on how to fix this, because frankly, I don't want to deal with this if this is the issues that it's going to have. Anyway, all right. Well, thank you all very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you again in the next episode. Have a great day.